1950s, expanded coverage to most workers, increased benefit levels, and then the first cost of living adjustment, also known as COLA, C-O-L-A. That mechanism was introduced in 1950. Disability and survivor benefits came into play from 1950 to 1960. In 1956, Social Security Disability Insurance, or SSDI, was created, providing benefits to workers with severe long-term disabilities. In 1961, early retirement options are introduced at age 62 with reduced benefits. So that was the early option. We'll get into how Republicans have been going after that for years. Everybody, please keep tapping and sharing. Let's see if we can really work hard to get the FYP tonight, friends. I need you guys. 1965, Medicare added to the Social Security Act, creating hospital insurance for seniors funded separately but administered by SSA. Automatic cost of living increases and the program's maturity came about in the 1970s. In 1972, an amendment was introduced, automatic annual COLAs tied to inflation starting in 1975, meaning that automatic cost of living adjustments would happen to Social Security benefits based on the economic conditions. So when inflation's high, the cost of living increase would automatically hit for Social Security and other benefits. Created supplemental security income, or SSI, to assist the elderly, blind, and disabled with low incomes, replacing state-run programs. However, over-generous benefit formulas combined with inflation in the 1970s led to projected funding shortfalls. Fiscal crisis and reform in the 1980s. Early 1980s, Social Security trust funds neared insolvency due to demographic shifts and slower wage growth. 1983, under the Reagan administration, and then bipartisan deals with Tip O'Neill, was a gradual raise to the full retirement age from 65 to 67. I talk about that because we're going to talk about this in terms of how Republicans, by and large, since that time, have cut benefits, and they'll say, "Well, there's no benefit cut." When you raise the retirement age, that by definition is a benefit cut. So, yes, taxed a portion of Social Security benefits for higher income retirees, increased payroll taxes, and covered federal employees. It's when the introduction of the cap started. Let's see. Modern adjustments and ongoing challenges for the 1990s to the present. 1990s to the 2000s, minor tweaks such as eliminating the earnings cap for seniors over 65. 2010 to the 20s, growing concern over long-term solvency as the baby boomer generation retires and worker to beneficiary ratio declines. Current forecasts, 2025 trustees report, trust fund depletion projected around 2033 or 2034 if no changes are made. Let's see. So what's that? 9 years from now, I would be at the ripe age to retire, right when benefits are going to get cut. Pay in my entire life, and then right when you get to cash your check, it's like you're standing in line for 4 hours of the roller coaster, and you are so fucking excited to go to the roller coaster, and you get to the gate, and you're next, and they close the ride. Not that I'm not depending on it, but it'd be nice to have. It is my fucking money. It's your fucking money, by the way. It's all of our money. It's not an entitlement other than the fact that we're entitled to it because it's ours. After that, income payroll taxes could cover about 77 to 80% of scheduled benefits. So they're talking about depletion. There's a couple ways to address it. We're going to talk about that in a moment. How it's funded today. Payroll taxes, 12.4% total split between an employer and employee, so 6% each, on wages up to a taxable max, which is the cap, of $168,600 from 2024. Two trust funds, Old Age and Survivors Insurance, or OASI, and then DI, which is disability insurance, and funds invested in special issue U.S. Treasury securities. Obviously, very politicized. Social Security has always been known as the third rail in domestic politics. I would add benefits in general, Medicaid, Medicare, SNAP to the same third rail. So the issue is each party, there's two very distinct approaches to Social Security depending on your political leanings. And I think this will be another example as to why I can prove that conservatives are selfish. So reform proposals include raising the payroll tax or removing it entirely, a plan introduced by Democrats, increasing the payroll tax rate, gradually raising the retirement age further, a program introduced by Republicans. So Democrats would like to raise the age or raise the cap. So $168,800 is what it is today. So there's talk about what that would look like if you doubled it, and I'll get into that in just a moment. Yes, Skipper, I agree. Then means testing benefits for higher income retirees. something Republicans have introduced. The idea behind that would be like, do people who have a certain income level, should they be entitled to their own money back? So that's a conversation, I guess, that we can have, but it's a weird pitch because ultimately it is still their money, right? It is still, you pay into it, it's still yours. And then expanding benefits by increasing taxes on high earners. Privatization, periodically proposed, usually and almost always by Republicans, including George W. Bush. Donald Trump talked about it in his first term. And even though they're denying that they want to do it now, I've got some sound that we can immediately debunk that, and we can tell them to go shut the fuck up. And then cost of living adjustments. Some proposals aim to tie COLAs to chained CPI, which grows more slowly than the current inflation measure. So again, Republicans want to connect it to the chained CPI, even though inflation might be outpacing the chained CPI. They don't want to match the inflation rate cost of living increase. They want to come up with some dumbed down formula, right? And now that we're supposed to just trust their numbers, whatever their numbers are, who gets harmed? We know who gets harmed. I've got some new CBO data that I'm going to share with you guys tonight as well. And then Social Security is the largest source of retirement income for most Americans, keeps over 22 million Americans out of poverty, including children, including disabled adults, including retirees, and provides both insurance and income replacement, not just a welfare program. Benefits are tied to lifetime earnings. Here's kind of the philosophical divide, all right? Democrats treat Social Security as a core social insurance program, not welfare, and generally oppose privatization, right? So the New Deal, the concept of the New Deal was to provide this social safety net for some of the most vulnerable. And again, it's not intended to be your entire retirement. Sadly, it's come to that, right? And what's ironic is there's frustration from the conservative right that we are spending too much money on social programs, whereas a Social Security retirement check would be what, $3,000 a month if you're lucky, depending on where you are as an earner. And yet we're going to grant tax cuts to billionaires. We can afford to do that, but we can't afford to raise the rate on, or the cap on, Social Security. Yeah, that makes sense. Can we get some shares, guys? There's only 57 shares. There's 240 people in here. Can we get some more shares? And please continue to like. We're going to struggle to get the FYP tonight, I can tell, but that's okay. Also, Democrats support expanding or at least preserving benefits, often funded by increasing a payroll tax, especially from higher earners, either raising and or eliminating that cap. They oppose tying benefit growth to slower inflation measures like the chain CPI, unless paired with new protections for low-income seniors. Republicans, on the other hand, emphasize long-term solvency through cost controls and sometimes through partial privatization. They'll never admit it publicly, wanting to privatize Social Security. They want to privatize everything. Ultimately, they want to privatize everything. They want to privatize Social Security. They want to privatize Medicaid, Medicare. They want to privatize the U.S. mail. They want to privatize all of it so they can reach on in and get themselves a piece of that pie. Hang on one second. Okay. And then Republicans are also more willing to raise the retirement age and adjust the benefit formulas to slow growth. So again, that's a benefit cut. Okay. And then historically open to linking COLAs to smaller inflation indices like the chain CPI, for example, which does nothing. So that's kind of the history. And then the question about whether or not parties have cut benefits in the past. Democrats what Democrats want to do is expand benefits for lower earners, raise or remove the payroll tax cap to above $250K from where it is right now, which is $168. There's been talk about what raising the cap double would be, and I'll get into that in just a second. Republicans oppose that. Democrats want to keep the retirement age as is. Republicans want to raise the retirement age, and then the Republicans want to explore private investment options for younger workers. Now, much like a flat tax rate of 10%, if we started at zero, then it would be easy. But we're not. We can't introduce a 10% flat tax now because 10% for a millionaire means a hell of a lot less than it does to a working mom or a working single parent, whatever that might be. So the question is, how do we fix it? So the conversation about raising the cap to increase solvency. 75. The current cap is $168,800. Doubling it to roughly $337 would have a meaningful but not complete effect on long-term solvency. The current problem, 75-year actuarial shortfall, which is 3.6% of taxable payroll, meaning that thank you, that was cool. So even if we doubled it, there's not enough to keep it at 100%. The benefit percentage just decreases as we continue to steal from the fund. I don't know what the potential scenario is, but on and on and on and on. This is something that has to be considered. It has to be discussed. And every single time there's legislation introduced to do things, for example, like raising the cap, Republicans vote against it, proving that conservatives are selfish. There's no legitimate reason. It's not. First of all, it's net neutral. It's not a deficit. In fact, it's against the law for Social Security to be counted against the deficit. It's our money. It's self-funded. That's the whole point. So it's deficit neutral, has no impact. So another selfish conservative lie is that, well, all these programs are they're bankrupting us. Blah. It's a lie. So don't let them lie to you. Well, that's the game. Just proves again that they're selfish. Similarly, when we're talking about Medicare, Medicaid, right? So I'm going to share this with you because the CBO has still been working on the big, beautiful piece of shit, trashy ass bill. And they've got some new projections out now based on the brackets that you fall into, the quintiles, I believe that they're called. So what you're looking at is the breakdown on, it's hard to see. I'm sorry, I couldn't make it bigger. I couldn't get it to fit. So what you see here is the income levels when you start to see where the breaks and or tax cuts and or increases fall. So pay special attention to this one over here. That's great. That's obvious. But here, down here. So the average median household income in America is $66,000. That's the average. Okay? So right here, that's $75,000. So everybody below this line would fall into the average or below average of household income in America. And you can see, this is the analysis done by the CBO, that people in those categories, right, are paying out of pocket. What's that? $390, $1,200. The lowest earners, $38,000, $1,200 out of pocket. The highest earners get $13,000. Again, now, of course, as we've learned this week, that these numbers from the CBO, we can't trust them. So what's going to happen is they're going to pop another loyalist in there, someone who is the CBO is nonpartisan. That is the entire goal of that agency. They look at what is proposed in budgets. They look at the tax brackets. They look at income. They looked at the impact then of this particular bill, and they spit this out every single time. So the two lowest at the bottom end of the earning spectrum, below the national average for median household income, out of pocket. We're paying money out of pocket. And that's just on the tax side. This doesn't even take into account the increased cost in Medicare and Medicaid, the increased cost in SNAP. Okay? And then on the other side, thank you, Heather. And then on the other side, look, and then everybody else. So they're gonna argue that the middle class gets a tax cut. Okay, I guess, sure. But as is always the case, you rob from the poor to give to the rich. If it was more in line here, maybe, but it's not. I don't expect you to agree with me. And I am not here to change your mind, MAGA. I'm just here to let you know that you've been lied to. Can you just accept that fact or no? But again, don't believe the CBO numbers. You don't have to. I don't care. It's not up to me. I'm not going to force feed you to believe it, but this is from the CBO. That's the Congressional Budget Office. Also a committee for a responsible budget reporting out on the same information. So I don't know what to tell you. Let me fix that. Oh, it's all set. So again, conservatives are selfish. Every single chance you get, you'll take money from poor people. You'll take money from marginalized communities. You'll close health centers. You'll cut SNAP benefits, right? So here you go. I mean, I don't know how to explain it to you, but every single category, again, $66,000 is the average median household income in America. $66,000. Everybody below that line, which is average America, right? Boy, I don't know what to tell you. It's kind of a sad state of affairs, but it's not like we didn't warn you. So when the president goes out there and says it's the biggest tax break in U.S. history, for whom? Round 2, TCJ extension. Okay. And you know what? Do you know what is really ironic about this chart, MAGA, if you're in here? Is that earning the average median income that we just discussed, $66,000, it's actually lower in Republican states, which means you all voted to have your taxes go up. So, sorry, not sorry. Weird, right? Why would you do that? What a dumb thing to do. Proving once again that conservatives are selfish, scared of everything, scared. MAGA in particular, MAGA men in particular are the weakest, wettest, softest napkins I've ever seen in my life. My gosh, I went through this exercise yesterday. It's mind-boggling how selfish they are. But that's fine. When your taxes go up, who are you going to blame? What about Biden? Are you going to look for Joe Biden to blame? Because we are still under the TCJA from the first time. And we're going to go back to it again. And just like the last time, your taxes are going to go up and you're going to look for somebody to blame. And the only person you can blame is your boy. The twice impeached, 4-time indicted, sexually abusing, fraudster, convicted felon, name on a list predator. That guy. Deuces, I will put that. I got the report. I will put it in the Discord. Let me see if I've got it here. Will somebody remind me to do that? Somebody kick me in the shins. Jess. I will put it in the Discord. Okay. There's a report. You can find it. The CBO report is out there, but I'll put it in Discord. So there you go. There you go. So then when we add everything up, not only do we pay more out of pocket from our tax burden that we're going to have to carry to make sure the billionaires can have another jet, right? We're also going to be out of luck with our insurance. By the way, this is personal because I was concerned because the ACA has been identified as an area that's going to be cut, ACA benefits, of which I am on the ACA just because of I fall into that weird spot, make too much money for Medicaid, Medicare, self-employed, so I don't have employer-based insurance. So the ACA worked for me. It's expensive. It's not perfect, but it works. But I'm in the position where I might lose it. So that's a really scary proposition, but that's how it is in our country these days. So please pay attention to that. Please, it's really, really important. Oh yeah, and then you're right. How can I forget? Then there's a tariff tax. So not only are we losing money from legislation that was just passed, not only are we losing our benefits, not only are we losing Medicaid, Medicare, not only are we being threatened by Social Security being privatized, but we've got tariffs as well. And we're now really starting to see it because last Friday was the day, right? Last Friday was the day. So inflation remains 2.7, up slightly, just slightly, but trending in that direction. And then speaking of privatization, when I say privatization, basically what I mean is that what the government wants to do now is create these accounts that we can invest in when you're younger, instead of just putting it all into payroll tax, which would then fund Social Security. Guess who would be guess who would be connected to that? You guessed it, the banks, everybody else. So yeah. So this is Scott Bessent, basically just admitting out loud, talking about privatization. Here you go.
If you have these accounts, why are you investing it this way? How are you doing it? How can you understand the power of compound interest? And also at the end of the day, in a way, it is a backdoor for privatizing Social Security. Like Social Security is a defined benefit plan paid out.
You heard it yourself. It's privatization. Here we go. And then again, what they'll do is they'll sell it to the American public by saying, this gives you an opportunity to control your money. And some people will be like, yeah, absolutely. And then they won't. And then retirement age will come along and they won't have any money. And then guess what? They'll be looking to the government to save their ass, to pay for their, fun young of the month club. It's weird how that happens, isn't it? Kind of weird. But get what you pay for, so to speak.
Yo.
Super. How are you tonight? How you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. What's on your mind?
I just caught that piece where I think that's best in talking about Social Security, and you were saying that privatizing Social Security is like a negative thing.
I think so. Mm-hmm.
Why do you think so?
Because what does it do? What's the goal?
Well, I mean, when I look at some of the other examples of places that have Social Security, I hear the.
I'm asking you, what's the goal? What's the goal of privatization?
Well, to make it sustainable long term, because right now it's essentially a.
It doesn't though. That's not what it does. Privatization would be separate from a payroll taxed Social Security fund. They would be separate. The reason so think about what you just said, because the Republicans are afraid to fund the budget because they can't tap into it by law, which they do by raising the age. So they don't want to fund it. They don't want to create a program now where we have a system that actually works, that pays out benefits. Instead, they want the program to go broke and then expect people to invest.
Why do you
and then who takes advantage of and then who takes advantage of the investment?
Oh, hold on. First of all, why do you say they want it to go broke? Like it's going to go broke on its own.
No, you're proving my point. No, it's not going to go broke. Every time there's an opportunity to do something to either raise the cap, what happens? Democrats vote for it, Republicans vote against it. Why?
Raising the cap, even if you had it unlimited cap, that would only make it, like, I think, viable till 2035, and then it would start going bankrupt.
As it sits right now, it's viable till. No, it's not. I just read the stats. It's viable. As it currently sits, it's viable until 2045 with a payout of 80%. So no, it wouldn't go broke.
With a payout of 80% is already a net. It's a net decrease. That's exactly.
But you said go broke. It wouldn't go broke.
It would begin on the trajectory of going. Like, let's say you lift the cap to the point.
That's not true. Another 75 years at the same rate. That's incorrect. I researched it today. I've been spending time on this. Again, back to the question about privatization. Privatization is the acknowledgement that Republicans don't want to invest in the current program as it is. They want to tell Americans it's all exciting. Go ahead. Let me finish. Go ahead and invest. And what happens if people don't invest?
Money doesn't get made. What do you mean? What happens?
No. What happens if they don't invest? So I'll give you the scenario. Republicans don't want to fund Social Security as it is. Every single time they want a means test for the wealthiest. They want to raise the retirement age, and they don't want to raise the cap. So they want the program to die on the vine so that they can privatize it, so that they can make money. My question to you is, why would we not just want to legislate to raise the cap? Because you can do it.
The cap is still not sustainable long term. Many other models around the world have embraced at least privately.
It's not true, Super. Think about it. It's funded now at $168,000. So why would you think it wouldn't be, if we raise the cap, why would you think we couldn't fund it? That's ridiculous. Because
the way it's set up, no, it's not ridiculous. It's because of the way it's set up. It's set up to, if a population continues to live longer and longer, which is expected to, and you have to, and you're dependent on the current way that it's set up is you're dependent on, it assumes that you have an ever growing youth population to pay for the older population that is getting old, that is living longer.
Which is exactly why you raise the cap.
Even if, and my point is,
Republicans can't have it both ways. You can't brag about wages going up and at the same time saying, well, we shouldn't raise the cap. It's $168,000.
Who's bragging about wages going up?
Conservatives are all the time.
When? Wages haven't really gone up. I mean, real wages have
I know that. I know
points.
that, but Republicans brag about it. Donald Trump brags about it all the time. Caroline Leavitt talks about it in her press conferences all the time. What are you watching? Like, what are you reading? They brag about it all the time. So which is it? If wages are going up, that would mean we should be able to raise the age. What about COLA? What about cost of living raises? Why do Republicans want to attach? Hold on. Why do Republicans want to attach COLA to change CPI as opposed to the regular inflation rate? Every single chance Republicans get, Every single conversation about what you can do to increase solvency, Republicans say no. Conservatives say no. Why is that? Tell me why.
Because it's a never-ending money pit. The root structure of
it's a money pit. What do you mean it's a money pit?
It is. It means that like
what do you mean?
For Social Security, you effectively pay 95 cents in, or sorry, you pay $1 in, you get 95 cents out. Like it's unsustainable. It's economically not feasible.
You're wrong about that. You're just absolutely wrong. You just don't want to do what's no, you are wrong. I just explained to you why you're wrong. I just explained to you why.
If I'm wrong, then how is it becoming insolvent? If I'm wrong, what is the mechanism that making it insolvent?
It's becoming insolvent because Republicans don't want to adjust it based on inflation. I just give you two examples. They want to tie it to change CPI. There's not a dollar for dollar transfer from payroll taxes. I mean, let's be real, friend. If you truly want to say the Republican Party is in favor of expanding benefits for seniors, then why do they constantly want to raise the age? And then why do they want to go after social safety net programs like Medicare, Medicaid, and SNAP benefits? So don't tell me the conservatives aren't selfish.
Because
I'm sorry, what?
Because they're crushing us.
They're not crushing our debt. They're not.
They are.
Those programs they're not. They're another conservative lie. They're not. They are.
Okay,
it's a self-funded program.
Budget comprised of?
How is it paid for though?
How is what? Which one?
Social Security. How's it paid for?
The young people pay into the system, and old people take it out.
Everybody pays in. Everybody pays in.
Okay.
How's it paid for?
We just talked about it. We just said it.
How is it paid for?
It's like through payroll taxes, right? Like I'm pretty sure the employer
self-funded.
Yet at a deficit. It's self-funded. A deficit.
It is self-funded. Can you name another government program that is self-funded?
That is self-funded?
Self-funded. Exactly. We pay for it. We pay into it.
Right.
It is deficit neutral. But again, it's not. It can't be connected to our deficit. It's not part of the deficit calculation.
It is absolutely part of the deficit.
It is absolutely not.
So it's one of the biggest. Is not one of the biggest line items.
Nope, it's not what I said.
Okay.
It's not part of the deficit because of the fact that it is self-funded. We don't generate tax dollars. A payroll tax, we pay 6%. Employers pay 6%. That's how it's funded. Did you not know that?
No, I did know that. Yes, I see it on my tax.
Then tell me another. So is the Department of Defense self-funded?
No.
Is DHS self-funded?
No.
Is any other government agency self-funded?
Agency or program?
Any other government agency?
No, agencies are not self-funded, but Social Security is not an agency. Social Security is an entitlement.
It's an entitlement because you're entitled to it because it's your money. Once again, can you name another government program that is self-funded?
Medicare might be. I'd have to look
again,
into
but you sure it is. It is self-funded through taxes. We pay into it.
Right.
So you're wrong about that. You're just wrong.
You don't. Dude, you're missing my point. I'm not saying.
No,
I'm not saying
you're not making a point. You're not making a point.
Yeah, I am making a point. Of course, we pay into all of these programs. What I'm saying is we don't pay.
We don't pay. What do we pay into the Department of Defense? They take our taxes and then decide how that money gets spent. Unlike Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid, we pay into those programs.
Yeah, but we get a return with our Department of Defense as well, right?
What return do we get?
Having the strongest military in the world, maintaining world reserve currency, which lets us essentially
that's a benefit. I would rather eat.
No. I would rather eat too. That's why I love our military. Without the U.S. military, without the U.S. military, we wouldn't be the world reserve currency. We wouldn't be able to lend out tons of debt, right? That's what makes the U.S. dollar.
And then,
so what's the number one asset in the world?
The dollar's also weakening as we see. Because a lot of that has to do with the big. It depends on who you're talking to, right? It depends on who you're talking to. Again, I want to get back to the topic though. My question is, are you a conservative?
I am. Yeah.
You're a Trump voter?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so then we have all this data. So I don't know if you saw this chart. So we have this. We have this information. This is from the CBO. Are you one of the people that does not trust the CBO now? All of a sudden, that we're not allowed to trust this information?
I think the CBO's models are, some of them are antiquated, but like we can go.
How would you know? But how would you know?
Because of the research that I've done, they do a lot of, like, for example, a lot of their projections are based on like static numbers. They use methods that have been used for the last 40 years. Okay, and it doesn't take into account changes in consumer behavior.
Fair enough, but let's assume that you're correct. Okay, but they've been using the same system to report out on the same tax information and budgetary information for the last, to your point, 40 years. So then, can we assume then that this report?
A lot of their projections are incorrect. A lot of their projections have been incorrect.
According to who? According to you?
According to IRS tax data.
Incorrect. What about, was the BLS? They farly. Stop talking. So were the BLS numbers wrong too?
Which ones? BLS.
So the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the jobs report, were the jobs report numbers wrong?
Are you talking about U3, U6? There's a lot of numbers. I'm not really
I'm talking about the numbers, all the controversy regarding Donald Trump firing the person who produced the BLS data last week and then replacing her with a loyalist. So were those BLS numbers wrong?
Well, the BLS said it was wrong. They revised it 12 months in a row.
Not wrong. They revised it. Okay, they revised it. Hold on.
Okay, so there's revision.
Hold on. They revise them all the time. So was their revision wrong? So in Donald Trump's words, their numbers were fraudulent. Were they fraudulent?
I think you could make a case that 13 months in a row is unprecedented. That we've never had that amount
that's
of.
Just again, that's not the question I'm asking you. That's not the question I'm asking you. Try to answer the question, okay? Try to answer the question. No, you're not.
They were fraudulent.
Answer the question.
13 months.
They were fraudulent.
13 months of positive.
Well, what does fraud imply? Fraud implies intentional. Right?
Yeah, it implies a deception of
a deception.
An intentional deception.
So back in April when Donald Trump praised the numbers from the BLS, was that fraud too?
Probably. He does stuff for political gain all the time. I don't agree with everything.
But he said back in April that. So this is my point. Thank you for walking right into my point. So are you only going to trust the data if it supports your claim?
No,
or do you only?
Absolutely not.
Well, that's what you're doing right now. You just made a statement.
There's plenty of things that Trump says.
Yes, it is. I asked you. Yes, it is. Hold on. Stop talking. I asked you specifically if the BLS numbers were fraudulent, and you said they were. So if the jobs report came out last month from June or from July, and there was 185,000 jobs created, would that number have been fraudulent as well?
It's hard to trust because the BLS has been so inconsistent. You can't. No, I would not agree with that. Do you know what the process is? Do you know what the process is for reporting? Do you understand what it is? Yeah, they do a lot of surveys and stuff like that.
And what else do they do?
Like you're talking about specifically for unemployment, they reach out to different companies.
How many? Do you know how many?
Off the top of my head, no, but I generally know the process. Like I've read up on it before.
Actually, you generally don't because you missed a big piece. They actually reach out to over 500,000 companies, and what's required is those companies to report their data at a certain time. So if they don't, there's going to be gaps. So they use maths to fill in the blanks, and then when they get the reporting from those companies, then they adjust. It's always been that way. It's always been that way. Now, hold on. So now we could argue that there should be a change to the system, but for you to say that that's fraudulent is bullshit.
But it's
not fraudulent.
Well, facts. What I'm saying is
because fraud, Superman. Hold on. Fraud would imply intent to deceive. That would be fraud. Now you can say that there's an opportunity to correct some of the way they report. I think everybody would agree with that. But you can't call it fraudulent because you don't like the numbers. The justification. So part two of the question though is: are we now? Hold on. Wait. Stop. Hold on. No, you said fraud. I asked you, and you said fraud.
You said the wrong reason though. I didn't say it's because I don't like the numbers.
You said fraud.
You're misrepresenting why I said fraud.
Did you or did you not say fraud?
I did say fraud, but you're misrepresenting the reason.
What does fraud imply?
Intention to deceive.
Okay. Do you think there was intention to deceive?
There's evidence that there was intention to deceive. Yes, because they overreported.
There's no evidence of that. There's
13 months of overreporting is unprecedented.
That is incorrect. These numbers happen all the time. What happened in August last year?
Show me another time in U.S. history where there was 13 months straight of
What happened in August? What happened in August last year?
August last year. I don't know. Are you talking about the 818,000?
Yeah, Donald Trump made the claim publicly that adjustment happened after the election. When did it happen?
Oh, I think it happened before.
It did. He made the claim that it happened after the election, claiming that it was fraud. You got to stop using that word because it's not fraud. You and I can probably come to an agreement that there needs perhaps to be a reasonable request to the BLS to determine how they pull their numbers. But you are implying that it's intentional. So then don't use that.
I'm not saying I can prove it's intentional. I'm just saying that it's fishy. Like when I look at 13 months in a row
because you don't like it. Because you don't like it.
Because I don't like it. It's strange. We usually when
but that's a feeling thing, Soup.
Hold on, facts.
That's a feeling thing.
Usually when there's revisions, some months are positive, some months are negatives. You know, like it's a mix. But to have it such drastic numbers, like increase in job numbers over and over every single month, there's an intention to. You know, you can't help but wonder, like,
you are still using that. Okay, but let me ask you part two of my question that I never got a chance to ask you. Now that we have this guy, by the way, who called, I forgot what the quote that he used. So E.J. Antony, do you think E.J. Antony is going to be someone that we can trust?
I haven't looked into, I don't know who that is yet. So I can't comment on it. But I'm just saying
would you like me to tell you who he is?
Sure, but we're getting away from the point, which I think the numbers were.
No, we're not. We're actually right on the point, as a matter of fact. We're right on it.
Sure, you can tell me about him. I don't. Are you saying this is a person that's going to replace the BLS head?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yep. Sure.
And you know what's really, really funny is he's been, just in recent days, he's been super critical of the BLS, calling it basically bullshit information. Okay, but you know what's really ironic is that he used BLS data in 2020 when he did his dissertation. So my question to you, hold on, wait, I haven't been able to ask my question yet.
Sorry, go ahead.
My question to you is, are we now supposed to just trust the data from this person?
No, not necessarily. Politicians are
not necessarily, but you didn't trust it from Erica McIntyre for a year and a half. You didn't trust it from her. So this is why we tell you guys you're in a cult.
I actually did trust the revisions.
You just did.
The revisions, but not the initial data.
Bro, well, that's what you do. That's how you revise information, just like science moves when you learn more information.
Okay, what do you? I'm just saying you're putting me into this all or nothing camp where it's either I trust everything or I don't trust everything. And it's like, dude,
no one said trust everything. Nobody said trust anything. I'm trying to approach this objectively. So I asked you, we've got data. Well, you're not, though, and I can prove it to you. You're not, because you use the word fraud. You're the one that used the word fraud.
A different word. I think the numbers were cooked. I think they were cooking numbers.
So that's still fraud, though. That would be intentional.
It's over. I don't know if I wouldn't call it fraud. They were overstating.
You use the word. Why did the numbers get overstated? Tell me why.
Because I think there was a political reason for it. I think that politically it's useful to overstate, to make it seem that things are better than they actually are. Would you disagree with that? Do you think people do that?
I absolutely disagree with you. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm actually going to play you some sound from somebody who used to work in that particular position. Would you trust the words? Would you trust the information from somebody who used to perform in the same role that Erica McIntyre performed in? Would you trust that? Would that be considered a viable source for you?
Yeah, I'd take a look. Why not?
Okay, I'm going to play you the sound. This is a former commissioner. It's a former commissioner being interviewed about what you just claimed, that the BLS commissioner is cooking the books. Okay? So here you go. This is a former BLS commissioner, person that was in the exact same role.
Explain to us, the president said that the BLS commissioner rigged these numbers. Yeah. What do you think?
There's no way for that to happen. The commissioner doesn't do anything to collect the numbers. The commissioner doesn't see the numbers until Wednesday before they're published. By the time the commissioner sees the numbers, they're all prepared. They're locked into the computer system. The only thing the commissioner does on Wednesday is to kind of do the edits on the text. So there's no hands-on at all for the commissioner. I was commissioner, and I was sometimes locked out of the process of actually, where the people were working in the building. So there's no way for doing that. What I think really upset the president on on Friday were the revisions to May and June, big revisions. But that's because, like every time we publish on Friday, there are revisions to the previous 2 months. This is a survey, and a survey has sample returns. You know, people have done surveys. You know, you answer your phone.
It's basically like a poll.
Yeah, it's like a poll.
Okay.
Not everybody in the country is asked the question, are you working? Are you looking for work? Just a handful. And businesses, about 600,000 businesses. Well, they don't all get their returns in on time. I would like them all to come in on time, but BLS keeps the door open for 2 more months to get more information. So what you saw on Friday was the effect of trying to do a better job, getting more information. And let me just end with this. Studies show that BLS is doing a better job now than they did 20 years ago, 20 and 30 years ago, in estimating the first number. So even though it's revised 2 more times, that 73,000 will be revised 2 more times, and they're more accurate now than they were 30 years ago. So I said groundless. I don't think there's any grounds at all for this firing, and it really hurts the statistical system. It undermines credibility in BLS. Suppose that they get a new commissioner, and this person, male or female, are just the best people possible, right? And they do a bad number. Well, everybody's going to think, well, it's not as bad as it probably really is, because they're going to suspect political influence. So this is damaging. This is not what we need to have.
So what did you learn from that?
Yeah, I think the guy's trying to save face. Can I share your link with you?
Again, so you think the guy is trying to... Hold on a minute. Hold on a second. So are you saying now that we just can't trust anybody if it doesn't fit your... Wait, let me finish the question.
Sorry. Okay, sorry.
What I'm trying to understand, because so far my gut is telling me that you're not going to believe anything unless it comes from your side.
No,
I'm saying, okay, that's why I'm asking the question. So you're saying that you can't take the word of a former BLS commissioner as he described the role, because I've looked this up myself, and he's right. The BLS commissioner is not the person who's cooking. They can't even cook the books. They get the data, they check the narrative, they publish it. Yes, so where is the fraud?
I think, look, that when first of all, like, let me just say, when a head of anyone gets the blame, it's usually because it's just the face of the person. It's not so much that they themselves were responsible or... So you
just don't trust the data?
No. I heard what he said. He said they're getting more accurate at reporting the first revisions and all this. But here is the BLS data as reported by them. This is non-farm payrolls for 2024. I'll link it in the chat. And if you could pull this up, actually, or maybe I can pull it up. This is their release. When you look at this data and you see this is the highest number of downward revisions 12 months straight, I think, in the history of the country. Does that not raise an eyebrow of like, huh?
It doesn't, because they revised. What would raise an eyebrow to me, since you asked me the question, is it becoming partisan. You're the one that is making it partisan now, not me. The person who was in the position was reporting the data all along. Donald Trump went on the record to say that she revised the numbers down after the election to benefit the Harris campaign. The numbers were revised down by 818,000 jobs 3 weeks after Kamala Harris declared her candidacy.
Yes, I know.
Who would that benefit?
At that time, it would benefit Trump at that time. Okay,
so that's my point. So what is more important here? To make sure you get the numbers right? Because if you're collecting the data and you are committed to publishing the data monthly, and surveillance don't respond to their surveys, what are you supposed to do? Do you know what you do? You use math. And then eventually, when you get the data, you revise it. There's been revisions up. There's been revisions down. It's always happened that way. Data will change. So I'm asking you. Well, I'm asking you now. Okay. Well, I'm asking you now. Next month, when this new guy, this complete fucking loyalist, who was at January 6th, by the way, and also again, who used BLS data to create his doctoral dissertation back in 2020. Apparently, he trusted it enough then to use it for his doctoral dissertation. Are we supposed to believe that information?
Not necessarily.
What does not necessarily mean, Super?
If this guy starts
what does that mean?
If there's a reporting pattern that raises concern, it should be looked into. This was every single month. The lowest number was negative 511,000 jobs revised down. It was every single month, 500 to 700,000 jobs.
That's not true. It was a 250,000 revision job.
I'm talking about
hold on. It was 250,000 job revision down from the first quarter, for May and June specifically. That's what freaked Trump out. Again, I am asking. This is really important. Okay, hold on. This is really, really important because we are in a place now where data integrity should matter to everybody.
Exactly.
I would rather. Okay. Well, my concern is, so say for example, next month. Okay. The new guy's in place. I'm going to bring up Obi because he's a maths guy and he specializes in this kind of stuff. So again, we're not going to dogpile on you. We're just going to have a conversation. My concern is that if we cannot land on trusting the science, trusting the math, trusting the data, just because people are looking to turn it into a political narrative, I'm not. I don't understand how the president can make a claim that this was weaponized against him when he literally lied to the American people about when that revision happened, praised the person who produced these job numbers in April and again in May, early May, and then when the revision happened, like it's always happened in the past, now the numbers are fraudulent and I'm going to fire her. That does not make sense. And you're a smart guy. That doesn't make sense to you either. You can't have it both ways.
I disagree with him. Like you're trying to align me with everything Trump does. I disagree with him.
I'm just trying to align you with what he said.
I don't think he should have fired Emily. I don't think that solves any issues.
Erica.
To be honest. Erica. Sorry. I don't think that solves any of the problems. What I would like to see is just some sort of investigation or just some sort of acknowledgement that these numbers, the non-farm payroll numbers that were adjusted from January to December 2024. Are extremely suspect. 500 to 710,000 jobs per month. No. According to you. No, it's according to their own.
That's according to you because you. Hold on a second.
No, it is not just according to me.
Yes, it is.
It is
because hold on, because of the words that you use. You used fraud. You used rigged. You used suspect. Those are emotional responses to what you're seeing. Instead, a better response, so I wouldn't have to poke holes in your argument, would to say, how can we guarantee that these revisions don't happen as big as they do? What is the system that we're working with? And are there opportunities in the system to fix it as opposed to laying a label on it? Because you started with fraud. Are you willing to move off that point now?
Like we can use another synonym if it makes you more comfortable. I think that
no, it's not about comfortable. Are you willing to move off the word fraud? That's the word that you used.
I said I switched it to cooked already. I think the numbers were cooked. They were overstated.
That's fraud, but that's fraud too. That implies intent.
Sure. Yeah, I think that there's a possibility that there was intent. Yes.
So you're implying that it's intentional. You are literally feeding into the Trump narrative. So don't tell me you don't align with things he's saying.
Intentional. I'm not saying I have proof that it was intentional. It could be intentional.
I think I could play shortstop for the Red Sox. It's probably not going to happen though.
I believe in you.
I appreciate that, but I say this a bit facetiously, but my guy, you can't have it both ways. You can't literally use words without any evidence. You are trying to create a narrative to justify what happened. Like you're not going to believe the CBO data. You said that's wrong. You don't believe the BLS data. Do you believe science? Do you believe the impact? Do you believe the impact of Medicaid? Do you believe that 10 million people are going to lose their Medicaid coverage?
Wait, hold on. The core of my argument is referencing BLS data. How can you say that I don't believe BLS data when I have a chart of BLS data pulled up saying that
fraud. Because you called it fraud, and you said the books are cooked.
That's
what you said.
It. I didn't say that.
No, they
did not. They admitted to the. They did not admit to the books being cooked.
They admitted that they overreported job numbers by 500
whatever your name is. Give me a second. Give me a second.
Bro. Let me play chart. 1 second. We're going to go one-on-one. Hold on one second here. Obi, I'm going to give you a chance just a second. Again, Super, what I'm focused on are the words that you used. You went from fraud to cook the books to intentional. Those are really, really polarizing words to use. Obi, go ahead.
All right. First, I'm going to assume that you don't do any job where any type of statistical analysis is required or any kind of advanced maths. So it's obvious based on the words that you're saying, right? So I'm going to give you an article for you to put in your back pocket and read at your leisure. I think this will help you. It's from Reuters, August 4th, 2025. And what is noted in there is super important because they looked at non-farm payrolls between 1979 and 2025. And the long and short of it is that most months have had small positive changes, meaning upward revisions, but there have been occasional sharp negative adjustments. This is something that we have seen. I will also further make an assumption that this isn't something that you do on a daily basis or look at for a living. So of course it seems off-putting. But now let me go back to your very first claim. Now, your very first claim was in regard to a strong dollar and the military. So you are about 40% correct there. But where you are wrong is there's no direct correlation, right? There's no one-to-one cause and effect.
I never said there was.
No, you inferred.
I didn't.
You inferred.
I actually said
listen very carefully.
Hey, hold on. You're already misrepresenting.
No.
But you're already misrepresenting my point.
Stop.
He's not. He nailed it.
You're trying to tie the military into
Stop, or I'll mute you. That's it. Okay.
That's not.
All right. Let's mute him, please. Mods, mute him.
You did that, Super. You're the one that did that, not Obi. You did it, Super.
You're jumping. You're jumping.
Mute. Okay, now I will explain this to you like I do anybody else that I take to school. Hang on 1 second, Obi.
Super, bro, just either stay on mute or stay quiet. Just let him finish, okay? Thanks.
So the U.S. dollar, there's no one-to-one cause and effect between the strength of the U.S. military and the strength of the U.S. dollar.
I agree with
That's because just stay on mute.
Bro, stay on mute or don't talk. I'll give you a chance. Don't worry. Wow. Patience.
He must not have a fully developed frontal lobe at this point.
Yeah, just
there
be patient,
are other
my guy.
economic, geopolitical, and institutional factors that you have to take into a place, right? There's a whole bunch of maths that you have to be able to do. So you are not correct. There is no one-to-one relationship. And yes, you did infer that. The second point that you tried to make was differentiating static versus dynamic. Here, you are 100% wrong. Now, it is true that CPI, right, so the price index, the way it's weighted is indeed part of a static model data collection, right? Because that's how it has to be. So too are occupational classifications, right? So those things are static in short-term timeframes because the inputs themselves automatically get updated, right? But the structure in and of itself of how that data is collected, it never changes. But the actual examination of the maths is done via dynamic modeling, right? So there are unemployment projections, right, which are coming from various industries. And then there are the U-series unemployment rates, which we discussed on a live not too long ago. So that's the U1 through the U6, right? And then there are seasonal model adjustments for agricultural stuff, right? So indeed, right, the static framework is the same definitions, the same formulas, the same categories. But the data itself is a dynamic feed, right? Because you're constantly getting updated data. So you get this first projection that gets sent out, right? And it's because they haven't fully modeled all of the math, right? But the agreement has been that the BLS will put out a set of numbers, and everybody in the entire world that pays attention to these numbers knows that there's going to be a revision. You are correct. Generally speaking, the revisions are positive. But as that article noted, and I told you from 1979 up until today, there have been indeed, though rare, very sharp negative downward, right? So how many times does the BLS revise things? right? Let's just take in the last 2 years. At a minimum, 2 times a month, they're doing revision work at a minimum, right? Generally speaking, within 2 years, you're going to see about 48 revisions done across a 2-year period. That's because this is how this type of math is done. This is because when you're analyzing data and doing different regression analysis or different types of analysis, you have to do this. So the people that are running these computer models are simply ensuring that the data that has come in is good data, right? And then an initial number is released. And then the model continues to go through what it has to go through, and then it has a revised number. There is no way for anyone to commit fraud, nor would they, because world economies depend on these numbers. US based businesses depend on these numbers. The US Treasury Department depends on these numbers because it helps make calculations across multiple industries, multiple governments, and multiple treasuries.
Okay, so let's check back in. So Soup, thank you, Obi. So Soup, again, the word that I'm focused on, the 3 words that I'm focused on: suspicious, rigged, or cooked books, and fraud. So Obi did an exceptional breakdown of that for you. So what I'm trying to understand is, like, why are you still hung up on that?
Well, can I respond to Obi? I don't know. I feel like he just got to talk for like 10 minutes.
Well, because it would have been 7 minutes if you didn't keep on muting. But go ahead, you can respond.
Because he's misrepresenting what I said. He's trying to tie military power to the strength of the dollar. I never said that. No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
I even said it when you originally brought it up.
Absolutely did.
It was not to the strength of the dollar. What? No, the correlation. Listen, if you actually let me get my point across, the correlation I was trying to make is that the strength of the U.S. military is what makes it the world reserve currency, which means we're going to recover faster. It's a safe haven asset around the world. It's used for all international trade, so we can export inflation.
That's not what you said. Maybe that's what you mean now, but that's not what you said.
You kept interrupting me, but I'm not saying that.
No. When this conversation started, hey, Sue, listen, the lives are recorded. Again, we're gonna stick to the facts here. That's how the conversation started. Okay, that's when I saw Obi request. So you may not have meant that, but that is what you said. So a person who is self-aware and is willing to be accountable for their own saying, well, if I had said it that way, that's not what I meant. What I meant to say was this, because you did say it. Okay, the chat lit you up, because
the point I was making was the world reserve currency.
Even in restating what you just stated, you are still wrong.
Well, how am I wrong?
So sorry, you're incorrect. I already explained to you how you're incorrect.
What are you talking about? Again, the military ensuring that the U.S. dollar stays the world reserve currency?
Because there's no direct correlation between between the two things that you're trying to claim. It's not one.
There's no correlation between military might and being the world reserve currency?
No, there is not. Like I explained to you.
Sure. You're sure.
Are you going to listen to learn, or are you just going to listen to react and be a troll? Which is it?
I wish I had something that you could teach me.
So you wish I had something. Are you going to be a condescending prick now?
Hold on. You think World War II has nothing to do with why the U.S. is currently the world reserve currency? You think it has
absolutely nothing to do with it.
Zero. Yeah, that's just crazy, bro. Like,
so you're just crazy. That's your opinion.
It's not an opinion. It's not an opinion.
No, it is.
What do you do for a living?
Entirely your opinion.
I need to know. What does he do for a living?
I work.
It's okay. Okay, cool.
What do you do? You work at Walmart?
I never said
again,
Walmart.
What did you say?
But I have.
Again, because
I work in tech.
It is an opinion, because you had an opinion that the numbers are fraudulent, the books are cooked, and it's suspicious. So those are entirely your opinions and your feelings. Okay, so again,
hold on.
I'm not done talking. I'm sorry, I'm not done talking. You initially made the claim that you made that we debunked on. So an adult, someone who has
Obi-Wan.
No, he absolutely did.
Source. I looked up the source, and in his router source, I looked it up. 1979 to 2025.
Reuters. It's called Reuters.
Okay, whatever.
It's not whatever.
Okay,
undereducated troglodyte. I work in tech. Yeah, sure.
Actually, you know what? You know what?
Do you know where I work, Obi? Do you know more about my life than I do, or what? Can you tell me where I work? If you're so smart, can you tell me where I work?
I guarantee you, Obi has forgotten more about this shit than you'll ever know. But let's start again.
So then this should be easy for him. This should be easy for him to debunk.
But he already did it. He already did it.
Then why are you so afraid of me getting a point across?
I'm not afraid because you haven't made a point yet. Because until you acknowledge that your statements that you made were entirely about your feelings, fraud, cooked books, and suspicious.
They were about
BLS
about your feelings. They were they're
about your feelings.
You still have not pulled up the. If you pull up the BLS source,
I'm talking to you again. We've already done it.
It's not feelings,
we've done it in the chat. It is feelings. We've already done it. You need to shut your mouth. I'm putting a sock in it. Okay. You know what? Let's do this instead. I want to cool the temperature down a little bit. Let's start again. Why don't you tell me what you had for dinner tonight? Can you do that for me, please?
It's not dinner time. I'm on the West Coast.
Nobody fucking cares. You see, this is the problem. And I talked about this yesterday. Okay, I talked about this yesterday. This is where we're at now. So a partisan, a person who is partisan, he's obviously partisan, is attempting to make an argument. Now, if he'd come up here and said, do you feel confident in the numbers, facts? What I would have said is, well, we've got numerous examples, historical examples of the BLS adjusting and revising numbers either up or down. So I think there's a possibility that we might be able to look at the information to see how it's reported. Maybe there's a better way to do it. But instead, he said they're fraudulent, the books are cooked, and it's suspicious. Those are all feelings. Those are all fifis.
Was that too high? Was that too?
It was getting close. It was getting close. If you just said it a little faster, that would get us. That would get us there. It's okay. I understand. It's your sweet spot. We were commenting on it in the chat. It's all right. It's fine. But again,
but you know where my weak spot is getting it down to 10 feet.
I know. Well, I was about to kick you in the shin, so it worked out fine. Again, the issue, and this is, I mean, I'm glad we had that conversation. He was just absolutely just grating on me. But I'm glad though we had it because this is exactly what I'm worried about. So here we are, right? Here we are, right? We've got this situation where, what are we supposed to trust? And you notice when I asked him the question about the new person that's going to be there, can you trust that information? I guess we'll have to see. You'll have to see. You were already saying the numbers are fraudulent. So then is it not fraud if it's somebody who's in your camp? Right. Is it not suspicious if it's somebody in your camp? If the book's not cooked, if it's somebody in your camp? This is dangerous. This is why I spent so much time talking about it yesterday, because so many economic decisions are made based on this information. And for somebody to say, oh, I don't align with Trump. I don't align with Trump, even though you're uttering every fucking talking point that Trump's been using for the past 5 years regarding data. Come on.
And by the way, I did hear you say what I shared with you, that in EJ's PhD dissertation, he quotes the BLS data and uses it to support his mom.
Because I listened to you.
Because
you're smarter than me.
It's almost as if the data is good. I think this young man's problem is that, and listen, I get this, right? He's not as old as you and I. He doesn't do what I do for a living, and he's not as good of a communicator as you are.
Jay Wiz or L Wiz, you said the host got schooled and he got triggered. So tough guy. Jay Wiz, I just sent you a request. You're too much of a coward to jump in the box and tell me how I got schooled. I know you won't come. You're chewing your fifis. You can go back to your footy pajamas and your Looney Tunes reruns as mom brings you your meatloaf. And then when you grow up, you can come and have a conversation, because this is too much of an adult themed show. So, but thanks though.
I mean, I'd like some footy pajamas.
Me too. I'd roll up in some right now. Yep. Hey, Obi, I just want you to know that no one but me has the privilege of pushing Sam's button. I just want to let you know I'm the only one that gets to do it. And she keeps asking me to do it. So apparently I'm doing a really good job. I'm just saying.
I think we need to ask our wife if I'm allowed to push other women's buttons. I don't think that's for me to decide independently.
It's not.
I'm just protecting myself.
That's a good move. See that? In all caps, I'm the best button pusher. You see that? Just saying. But anyway, I want to make this serious, right? Now, if you have a point, first of all, the situation with the military, the statement that he made was absolutely the statement that he made. Everybody heard it. Everybody heard it. Again, what I want, what we should all want, this should not be a partisan issue. Okay? That should not be, this should not be a partisan issue. We've got to be able to trust information. So now what's happened, right? Because the numbers came out that the president didn't like, now he's going to be, admittedly, he told, the quote was, EJ is going to provide honest and accurate information according to whom? Who's the arbiter for that? Okay? So when the numbers come out, so I'm already imagining how this is going to go. He uses the same methodology. He gets the same sources. He comes back with the same information. Next month comes out with a jobs number that's likely going to be low again because that's how it's been trending. And it's 25,000, Mr. President. That's not going to work. Add a zero and call it a day. 250,000 jobs created. And that we're supposed to believe that. That would be fraud. That would be that would be fraud. That would be cooking the books. That would be something that we should all be suspicious of.
Also, they would fail their annual audit, by the way.
Yeah. Well, but would they? Because again, if you're cooking the books, you cook the books to avoid failing an audit.
No, audits are independent third parties. Auditors are independent third parties that come in, and they would notice that the model had been changed. You can't
in
hide
a normal
the change
world
to a model.
In a normal world, it'll be, but we no longer live in normalcy.
I'm sorry. Well, I mean, I live in Los Angeles. Let's face it. I mean, it's nothing here is normal.
I'm gonna do something really quick, and I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna bring our wife up, and I'm gonna embarrass the shit out of both of you at the moment. So both of you pipe down for a second. I would like you all to know, friends, in front of 456 people, the two people that are now in my box are I consider members of my family. So as I've mentioned to you guys, it was a rough stretch for myself and my family recently, including my daughters. For those of you who've ever been a teenager, you lose access to your wheels, you lose your independence. So what these two amazing human beings did is they donated a car that they no longer needed to my kid, of which we picked it up today, as a matter of fact, really early this morning. And there it is right there, the Blueberry. There it is. So that communist vehicle made its way all the way across the country to the state that does not exist. And now my daughter, giddy as a 17-year-old girl could ever be, is cruising around in her new wheels. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for your generosity and kindness.
You are welcome.
You are so very welcome.
And we're excited. We're excited that our daughter has a car and that you get your car back. Most importantly, that's a big thing. Right?
Exactly.
I come up here all the time, right? And I say things like, at the end of my life, I will be okay because I've known what I've done for other people.
Mm.
And now other people that are here know what my wife can do for other people. Because it's easy. It's easy to give of yourself, and it's easy to give something to somebody that you love so much that is family. And it doesn't matter what it is. It could be a dozen chocolate chip cookies that make somebody feel better. It could be picking up the phone and calling somebody. One of the things I loved about that early series of Are You Okay? Was hearing about people that weren't okay, and that sometimes people just need to be listened to. They just need an ear. That's something we all can do that's free. You could just be there for a friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the fact of the matter is that there was a need. And the decision was quick. It was a 5-minute conversation. And I'm so glad that it got there in one piece. And I'm really happy that she gets to have that sense of independence. And because it's from Commie, California, of course, the most important thing, Steve, is there's no rust.
No rust. Exactly. For people who live in northern climates, especially in northern New England, if you can make it like 4 years with any vehicle, or to try to find a used car that's over 7 years old and not have rust on the quarter panel or in the wheel well, you're like, woohoo! So we were walking around the car, and that's the first thing she said. She's like, Dad, there's no rust. I'm like, I know. So again, you know how I feel about both of you. Thank you very much for what you did. It's incredibly kind.
You're welcome.
You are very welcome. That's all I wanted to say. I wanted to just get away from the other person that was up there because he was just ridiculous.
He was. Yeah. Can you imagine, Jen, can you imagine somebody like that attempting to go toe to toe on maths with your husband?
No,
Exactly.
not at all.
And your husband went easy on him.
Yes, he did.
And I didn't even insult him but one time because he was being a low information troglodyte.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
All right, you can drop me, but thank you.
Thank you, Jen. We love you, sweetheart. Appreciate you very much.
Love you, Ben.
Fish, it got shipped across the country. We found actually the company that you recommended, Fish. So thank you very much for that, buddy. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks, Fish. Appreciate
anyway,
that.
Back to the topic though. This is really, really important, you guys, right? Data is power, and this one has long-lasting effects on all of us because hiring managers use this data, benefits coordinators use this data, interest rates are connected to this, mortgage rates, lease rates. You know,
yeah, I mean,
there's so much that's connected to this, and it just can't be partisan. So now we don't want to be in a position where next month we're looking at the numbers like this is fucking crazy. I just want to be able to trust the information. If we add 125,000 jobs next month, then that's great. So what we want to do. We want to add jobs. And I really feel like we become so partisan politically that we're unwilling to celebrate something positive. So if we got 125,000 jobs added, that would be a good thing. And we should be able to say that's a good thing. The problem is now is we've got an admitted partisan hack who was at J6, who called BLS data bullshit, even though he used it for his dissertation. We're supposed to believe that. And again, part of the directive for hiring this guy is that he's got to run the numbers by Trump before he publishes them. Are we supposed to believe that?
And there are no economists that are supporting him, by the way. Like none.
Yeah.
That should tell you something. Right?
Exactly. So what's going to be your first reaction for somebody who really knows this shit, Obi? When we get a jobs report, no matter what it is, if it's 5,000 or 50,000, what's your first reaction going to be? You're probably a unique person to ask because you look at this strictly from the maths perspective. So what's your reaction going to be?
I'm probably going to open Excel and go to work and try to prove the math.
Hey, don't threaten you with a good time. I'm just saying.
I mean, also, by the way, I sent you something. Actually, I sent it to all the mods in the mod chat. This is something I was saving, but I couldn't help myself. You know how we've been talking about solvency for 100 years for Social Security?
Yes.
So I wrote out all the math for you guys and then wrote a little 1.5-page dissertation on how to understand the math and how you make it.
It's in the mod chat.
And how you make it solvent for 100 years. It's in the mod chat.
Okay. Oh, there it is. I see it. Okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah. And I promise it's very high level.
Speaking of handsome, charming individuals, what's up, Rusty?
How dare you besmirch those of us who want to sit around and watch Warner Brothers cartoons?
That's as that was coming out of my mouth, I was like, no, that's not the way to go, because I would do that right now. I would completely stream the B-49 space modulator or whatever it is. I forget what the yes, K9.
A couple things. A, Obi, you and the Mrs. Rock.
Thank you.
B, Facts, you need to take a little bit of self-congratulations as well for being able to talk about the need. I know for myself, if I were in similar straits, I wouldn't say a damn word. That's something I'm trying to overcome. The ability to say, hey, I could use a life preserver for whatever. instead of no, I'm fine. So yeah, good on you, man. For
appreciate you saying that. And maybe that's appreciate you saying that, buddy. Maybe that's inspiring to others. Let's hope so.
It is. I mean, it is inspiring, and like I said, it's something I've been struggling with for I don't know, my entire life, but working on it. But to the topic, it makes me wonder, since we've now got a guy in BLS who we can't trust, while he can't cook the official numbers based on this system. What he can do is lie. What he can do is say, oh, no, everything is great. And then it makes me wonder if we're then going to see sycophants in things like unemployment numbers, who will say, oh, no, the unemployment numbers aren't going up, when we know they're going to. And they can paint this rosy picture of how everything is wonderful, and unless you are a Trump supporter who is suffering, you'll just believe it. And as we've seen, over and over again, they're all I me. They don't give a rat's ass if other people are hurt. They don't care.
But I hear you. You're right. But like we were just discussing, Rusty, we've got to be able to trust something. Like in the past, it was always like, oh yeah, you can go to trust a .gov source. Well, a .gov source could also include James Comer using his .gov account to spew bullshit from a House Oversight Committee meeting, or vice versa. So the question then becomes like, first of all, this is for everybody, objectively speaking. The whitehouse.com page is a press release, okay? And that applies to both, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican. They use it as a PR tool, okay? The difference is what we see now are just blatant fucking lies. So as I've spent, you guys know this, integrity, and especially in the media, is something I am really, in case you didn't know, I'm really focused on that stuff. So depending on where you're going to choose to get your source, I hope if anybody's learned anything from me over the 3+ years I've been doing this, it's just check your sources. Like, where is that coming from? Just because it's coming from someone that you claim to trust doesn't always mean it's accurate. Verify it, confirm it, triple check it before you publicize it. We have a rule in our mod chat. I mean, I even asked them, said, guys, don't let me say this unless we can confirm it. And then Jess kicks me in the shin. But I told her to, and I kind of like it. I'm just saying, just a little. Like I say, I don't bite. I only nibble. I don't mind the king. I don't mind the shin kick. But I mean, I'm just saying that to everybody. Fair enough. But I say that to everybody as a cautionary tale, right? We've got to be very careful. That's why this shit really makes me nervous. Really, really makes me nervous. Not because it's one thing for the White House to put out crime statistics and then lie about it to the American people. That's one thing, because that affects that particular community, and we're not going to stop him from sending in the jackbooted thugs to the streets of New York or DC or whatever. But this has such far-reaching effects, and Obi mentioned this yesterday, but not just the impact domestically, but the impact globally that this stuff has. And then one person, a loyalist, a sycophantic J6 traitor, is the person now responsible for publishing this information? And you even heard our last guest when I played the sound of a former BLS commissioner. His response was, well, he's covering his own ass.
And if I remember correctly, that's the BLS commissioner that was appointed by Trump in the first administration.
Correct. That is correct.
Yeah.
That is correct. Exactly. So it's like, what do we do with this? What do we do with this information? Now, it's okay to question things. And I think we could all, I know you guys, have integrity. We could all sit here and say, okay, it seems like they've got to fix their system as to how they do this. I don't know what that would look like. Maybe they can't. Maybe the pressure is on corporations to respond to the surveys faster. I don't know. But if there is this constant...
Yeah, that's a fair statement to make.
Sure.
Nobody should argue with that. Okay, can we improve the system? Sure.
Exactly.
Where do we make the improvements? That's where the debate comes in, not, it's all rigged.
Yeah,
exactly. No, rigged, or the books are cooked, or it's suspicious, right?
It's fraud, which is a crime. Well, if it's a frickin' crime, why wasn't the former BLS head arrested?
Correct.
Because
to say
it
fraud,
wasn't a crime,
right? Exactly. Yeah. To say fraud, all that does, because those are echoing the words coming from the White House. It's rigged. It's a rigged election. It's fraudulent. I mean, we just live in this vacuum that we're all trying to fight. This is why I take what I do here very seriously, because I'm trying to cut through the noise to say, okay, this is what they're telling you. This is what the actual is. This is the middle ground. This is the space that we're going to be running around in. This is where you should go to confirm this information. Primary sources, secondary sources, tertiary source. Remember, friends, I know you guys know this. A primary source would be, for example, jobs report data. That would be a primary source, okay? A secondary source would be somebody interpreting it. A tertiary source would be somebody interpreting the interpretation, all right? So let's keep that in mind. Primary sources are absolutely critical. And if we can't trust them under the accusations of fraud, cooked books, or suspicious, then we're fucked. I'll just say it. We're fucked.
Yep. Well, and when it comes to when we're talking about news agencies specifically, and of course, they're you got the Lion News, it's fake news, it's fake this. How many of these news sources accurate? That happens from time to time. But who gets hit for nearly $1 billion in fines? And yet that side doesn't. They say, "Oh, that was fraud. That was fake. They shouldn't have had to pay that. They were right." The disconnect is just mind-boggling to me. Yes, news agencies are made of human beings. Everything we do is made of people, and people fuck up. But there's a difference between there's a difference between a mistake and an intentional deception. And mistake we all happens.
You're right. We all walk around with biases every day. For anybody to say that they're non-biased, they're just lying to themselves. We all walk around with biases every day. People who are educated, people who can critically think, accept their bias and then say, okay, this seems like my bias might be taking over here. What is the truth?
Right.
And like I said before, just because if we get a jobs report next month or next quarter or whatever it is, thank you. That's cool. If we get a jobs report and the numbers are proven to be accurate and it's 125,000 jobs or whatever, and unemployment drops and inflation drops, then it's okay, folks, for us to be like, that's good. It's really okay for us to have, because we want to be able to celebrate the successes. Because I would ask you this, if it was Kamala Harris in the White House. So here's a hypothetical. Next month, okay? The jobs numbers comes out. There's 150,000 jobs added. It goes above expectation. Unemployment rate drops down to 3.9%. Inflation drops to 2.6%. Under Donald Trump, we're going to look at that and say, shit, we can't trust the information. If the same information came out and Kamala Harris was the president, we'd be like, hey, that's cool. Let's celebrate it. That's what bias does to us.
Yeah.
Objectively, we should be able to look at the information and say, that's a positive. Unfortunately, because the twice impeached, four-time indicted, sexually abusing, fraudster, convicted felon, name on a list predator just lies to us all the time. So we have no reason to trust him. I want to be able to trust the data. I just don't know when or if we'll ever be able to, at least now. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. I know for myself, because, no. I know for myself, I'm not a numbers guy. I will, look at the numbers and make my assessments based on what I can glean out of it. But as we know, I have been hit in the head a lot. If I need, I'll defer to Obi. Hey, bud, look at these numbers. Am I crazy? But
and Obi be like, they're real numbers, but yes, you are crazy.
But I was even in a live a few days ago where numbers are being brought up, and somebody had said, well, are you saying that if the numbers are great from this administration, you're just going to automatically say they're wrong? And I said, no, here's the deal. And I've said this since he went down the escalator. If Donald Trump promised us all a bucket of money and a puppy, and he delivered, we all got a bucket of money and a puppy, I don't care he's a fascist. I don't care based upon his human rights record. I don't care because he's a misogynist. I don't care because he promotes fascism, racism, blah, 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 blah. That is not enough for me to trade my soul so I get a bucket of money and a puppy. Don't care.
So you don't care that you don't care if you got a bucket of money or a puppy because he's a fascist and an autocrat.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Gotcha.
It's like it's not worth it to me. And I know we've all heard it. I've heard more and more people in here say, "Well, I'm doing great," or "I'm winning, I'm getting ahead."
Conservatives are selfish. Exactly.
Absolutely, absolutely, and they don't give a rat's ass about the rest of society. Our side of the aisle tends to. I'll sacrifice a few dollars if I'm making the world a little bit better place, and I do what I can to do that. I'm not giving cars away because I don't have them to give away, Obi. But I don't. I will do what I can to. It was here than when I was here, and they don't care, and I will sacrifice financial gain based on if we're not dealing with racism and homophobia and blah blah blah.
We seem to have lost our host.
Am I here?
Is this thing on? Soylent Green.
My power
right into my head.
My power.
And I was about to scream, "It's people! It's people!"
Yeah,
your power went out?
I can hear you.
Yeah, my power went out. That's crazy.
Well, at least you have a spare car now. So.
Well, my power went out, but I'm 60, so we can expect that.
I'll hang in here. I'm not sure what's gonna happen. I don't even know why it came out. Why the power went out.
Well, I actually have to grab my son. We got to run some errands.
Okay.
But yeah, I certainly wanted to say, Obi, you and the Mrs. Rock, and Steve, you rock, and whoever that mouth breather was earlier, you don't.
Everybody's gather around. I'll tell you a scary story.
All right, Count Floyd.
Well, this is kind of fun. I'll hang in. Except it gets hot in here without the fan. But anyway, thanks for
Doesn't it get hot in there anyway?
Hey now, I don't even have the effects. Yes, it does. Well, no, unless I'm pushing Sam's button. Hey now.
Hey now. Hey now. Guys, you take care.
You too, man.
Love you, Rusty.
You too.
Love you guys.
So I guess we'll just have a conversation then, since I can't do anything. Literally have no
Did Kipper climb a pole and bite through the power lines?
The entire neighborhood's out. I don't know why. Everything's out though. Like we're not having any storms. It does happen on occasion.
Yeah. I mean, well, see now.
Yeah. Ooh.
Getting back to our conversation with the young man who worked in tech. By the way, this is how I know people are lower information. If you say you work in tech, that's not actually saying anything at all. I work in technology. Gee, really? What does that mean? Do you make batteries?
Yeah, it's actually kind of a good point.
Right? Do you do programming? Is it front end, back end? Right? Yeah. Are you a Python person? Or are you Ruby on the Rails person? What do you do?
Or right? if you spend any time in my mod chat, my mods work with tech, if you know what I mean.
Hey now.
Hey.
By the way, when you went live, I was like, don't do this to me, bro. Like, what are you doing? Like, this is like, you're not supposed to be here.
I know. Well, I couldn't go this morning because, as you know, I was out of the house super early to pick up the blueberry.
Well, gee, I'm so sorry that we inconvenienced you by sending you a car.
Did I tell you? I told you the story about the Russian guy. Did I tell you the story?
No.
Oh, it was great. So he texted me and he says, "I've got car on the back of truck." Are you Steve? I'm like, yes, I am. He's like, okay, I'll be there in 10 minutes. So I pull in 10 minutes later. He's like, okay, here car, sign here, pay me. I got to leave. I'm like, okay, I'm out.
Yeah, they all work on a clock.
Yeah, right? They do. He had like 5 deliveries. So, that was the first one. But he was heading up. He was heading over to, you think I live in the sticks. He was heading way the hell out into the middle of nowhere. So,
yeah,
Mod, by the way, I can't access the Discord, guys, because I've lost like Wi-Fi. So sorry.
Oh.
Yep.
Well, I don't see any notes to you in there. It was noted that people were not surprised, apparently, that I had done the math.
Oh, of course not. Of course not.
Yeah.
Steve in the sticks. So. Yeah, Steve. I don't live in. I mean, yeah, I do live in the sticks. Yeah, I do. I live in a town that has 350 people in it, but I do live in the sticks. Yeah. There's more people. Right. There's more people on Obie Street that live in my town.
Well, we did discuss how many people live in my county versus most states.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
That is true.
Tootle, you missed the maths, Tootle, unless you were here.
Well, again, I mentioned this earlier about the first person who received a Social Security payment in the amount of $22.54 was from the state that does not exist.
Correct.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, I don't know what to do at this point. Anything on your? Anybody want to jump in the box? Anybody got anything on their mind they want to talk about? Is anybody requesting? Let me see. Oh, Chris is here. Dude guy.
Hey, first of all, how's your range to your right if you're going to play shortstop?
My range to my right was actually really good. You couldn't beat me glove side. Let's put it that way. But then I tore my labrum. Then I tore my labrum twice. So
well, that doesn't help. What are you? You're giving me like Trevor Story. Hey, Obi, how long were you in the Navy for?
8 years.
So you were surrounded by seamen for 8 years? That didn't bother you at all? Ba-dum-bum.
No, but ironically, if I may, just for 1 second, the special boat unit I was in was nicknamed the Dirty Boat Guys.
Hey now.
Well, there you go. So this is Facts in the Dark.
This is Facts in the Dark. Yeah, it kind of caught me off guard a little. I mean, I thought maybe it was my house, but the entire street is out, so I don't know what happened.
You live in the sticks, Steve. This is what happens. The gerbil fell off the wheel.
I do, bro. I do. Well, it's funny, though, because literally like a couple weeks ago, they just finished burying the lines under the road. So I don't know if something else happened, but the entire street is dark.
A moose dug it up.
It's still like 90,000 degrees Kelvin around here, and the air does not move, so it's hot as shit.
No, it was hot today down here. It was muggy as hell.
So if the power doesn't come back, then I'm going to sleep in my car because it's
no air. Sleep in the new car. Hey, by the way, did you see the White House put out 4 facts about Melania yesterday?
No.
Okay, so the first one, she has one of the largest hat collections. She has over 400 hats, most of any first lady.
Okay.
She was one of the youngest first ladies ever at age 46.
Okay.
She's the first Slovenian prostitute to become first lady.
Well, there's that.
And she had a dog growing up. So
was she only 40? Is she only like 46?
No. When they first got in, she's only like 50-something.
Okay.
Well, because what?
Yeah,
so
wasn't Jackie? And somebody just asked the question. Wasn't Jackie O younger than that?
I don't know. The joke was about the prostitute. Why are we going into the rest of the details?
Well, because it wasn't a very good joke, Chris. That's the problem.
Well, come on.
They can't be all winners there.
They can't all be winners here,
That's true.
Well, do you
Jacqueline Kennedy was 31.
Wow. Yeah, that's...
Wow, she was young.
Somebody just said that's a rough 46.
Well, she kind of looks like Jenna now, but...
Yeah, thank you, Sam. Yes, I am into the details. Like I need to kind of peel it back a little bit, find out what's going on. I need to explore. I like to explore. To find things out,
She's suing Hunter Biden. You saw that, right?
Melania is?
Yeah.
Yes, but however, if I were Hunter, for defamation.
Is she jealous of his junk? Is that why?
Yeah.
Defamation claiming that Trump was not introduced to Melania vis-a-vis Epstein. And I'm like, take it to court because the discovery will be a chef's kiss.
Oh, absolutely. Deposition.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Because I still say Maxwell was her madam.
Yeah, I had some sound that I wanted to play on that topic, but I can't play it now. But again, as we are going to not allow the Epstein story, the Trump files to go away, there's no update. I want to correct something that I might have said yesterday. There's a rumor that's been circulating, and I being, again, because we all have biases and we become susceptible to misinformation, there was reporting that Ghislaine Maxwell was granted work release, and that is not true. That has been debunked. What she was granted was a waiver to be moved from where she was to Club Fed, but she was not given a work release waiver because we still do have a criminal justice system that anybody convicted of a schmeck's crime is not granted those. And Jeffrey Epstein's first conviction was not based on a schmeck's crime. It was solicitation and prostitution, not the specifics that he eventually got convicted for.
Right.
So I wanted to make sure I clear that up with people. If I think I might have mentioned that yesterday, and if I did, I'm sorry. I didn't want to.
Yeah, I saw something on that today too. That they were saying that she got work release, and of course the conspiracy theories will start running wild that she's going to go and work release and disappear.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I want to see if how Comey does with the Clinton subpoenas.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why was Donald Trump not subpoenaed?
Why wasn't Acosta not subpoenaed?
Why wasn't Pam Bondi subpoenaed? Why wasn't Cash subpoenaed?
Melania Trump.
Yeah. Why was he not subpoenaed? Yep.
You know, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. The whole thing's a mess. They're going to do everything to go after. But what were you saying earlier as far as like with the BLS?
Hold on a second. Tony, bro, you're turning black. Tony, this is my black job, my guy. That's what this is.
Ooh, I'm not touching that one.
He said it, not me. He said I'm turning black.
I'm not going there. Nope. Not touching that third rail. Nope.
He laughed. I knew he would.
If permission is granted by DJ Tony, then
he laughed.
All right. As long as he laughed.
I know he's got a sense of humor.
Man, it's fucking hot in here. Holy shit.
He also married up.
But you, like you were saying about like with the BLS and all that, the worst thing he's doing now is going after the bureaucrats.
Yeah, well, he's going after the data. Hey, buddy, what's going on?
I was like, what's going on? I was like, I come back and I'm like, is this facts in the dark?
We lost power. My entire neighborhood's out.
It's like, now you know how I feel.
Hey, bro, I'm glad you're here. That beatboxer you had on, that was awesome. Holy shit.
Oh, you know who that is? You know who that is?
No.
That was Blake Lewis, who was on American Idol season 6, and he came second to Jordan Sparks.
Really?
Yeah. So if you're a big American Idol fan, like this is season 6. I've known him for 20 years now, and I knew when he was going to be on American Idol. I met him back in 2000 because I was on a tour, and he's from Seattle, and he's just a really cool musician cat. And I moved to the Northwest, we became friends, and then he's like, I'm going on American Idol, and I'm like, oh, that's dope, because me and my family watch it. And then we watched him just slaughter, because he's an amazing beatboxer. And then he lost to Jordan Sparks, which he was cool with. And then now he was in town here in San Diego. He's with the Fat Cat Swingers. And so they do, if you ever see them in your town, go see them. They do big band swing shit, and they perform all over everywhere, Disneyland, everywhere. And so he came to the house, and he's like, yo, let's go live. I'm like, all right, but you got to beatbox. He's like, okay. He's incredibly talented.
It was amazing. I mean, it was so funny because he looked like he was so comfortable at your hardware, just kind of it was great.
He DJs. He's a DJ, he's a music producer, and I saw someone say they boycott. I don't watch American Idol anymore. I watched it like I think all the way up until he was off of it, and I think I stopped watching it after that. And now I absolutely will not watch it. But back when it was like cool to watch, he was on it, and it was like damn near 20 years ago. So yeah. Anyways, I just had to crack that joke because I like to crack jokes, and I'm like, why is this dude in the dark? What's going on?
I appreciate you, buddy. I appreciate you know that, friend. So, guys, if you
And
don't follow Tony, please do. You going live tonight, bro? What's going on?
absolutely, man. I'm sitting. Let me show you real quick. I'm literally sitting in hot water.
Oh, it's getting hot in here. It's getting hot in here.
I'm chilling. I'm chilling. You know, I'm as Trish would say, "Are you taking your man bath?" I'm like,
Yeah,
"Yeah."
baby.
She was in here earlier, but I'm in this thing like religiously. Next time
It's getting hot in here.
next time you come to San Diego, bro, you got to come over and hang out, and you can experience Camp Trish, as we call it.
I'm down. I'm down with that. Where's Obi? He's now flexing. He wants a little bit of love. Okay.
I know. Wait, what are you doing? You're like on Wilshire in freaking La Brea. What are you doing, bro?
I have a combatives class tonight.
I literally know exactly where you're at.
Yeah, here's the HQ. You recognize that place?
Dude, I'm like, soon as I saw that, I'm like, I know exactly where I'm like, what are you doing?
Yep. Yes,
Dude,
everyone, this is Wilshire Boulevard.
The Peterson Museum's like right there, right? Isn't it like right there?
Yeah, all I gotta do is just pop through and come to this office.
I would show you guys around, but I can't. It's dark.
No, I can barely see the edge.
Over in my house, you can't see shit because it's dark in here.
It is dark.
Is it raining or something at your house, bro, or what?
No, it's not. The entire neighborhood's out, so I don't know what happened. I mean, everybody's out.
It's raining, man. Hallelujah.
Yeah, no.
To the seamen, but anyway.
No. I mean, these days, a strong wind would get me excited, but I'm just saying, I'll leave that right there.
Oh, Lord.
Tony, buddy, I love you, buddy. Thanks for jumping in, man. It's good to see you.
I love you guys, man. Hey, turn some light on, man. You look better white.
I appreciate you, buddy. See you later.
There are MAGA people who said Steve's been in the dock for years, so what's it really matter?
That's true. Chris, thanks for jumping up, buddy. I'm going to wrap.
Take care.
Good to see you, man. Take care. I think I'm going to wrap, friends, because it's so fucking hot in here. I have to get outside and get some fresh air. But everybody, final words tonight, Obi?
If you want to have a discussion and it's about maths or science, it's okay that you don't know everything. I don't know everything. I'm still learning. I am a lifelong student. What's not okay is to conflate your feelings for facts, because at Facts Still Matter, that's all we care about. Your feelings are your own. Reserve your feelings conversations for Feelings Friday with AD and Facts as they discuss, are you okay?
That's the fair.
News and weather at the 8s.
We're news and weather together. I appreciate you, buddy.
Love you, man.
Tomorrow morning, friends, we'll be back. Hopefully we'll have power by then. If we don't, if I'm not on in the morning, it's because we don't have power. But otherwise, mods, I love you guys. Thank you, chat. You guys are the smartest chat on TikTok. Obi, Jen, thank you both again for your amazing generosity and kindness. It's an example of It's an example when we talk about unexpected angels. Well, I'd like to think that I've been an unexpected angel in other people's lives, and I know that Obi and Jen have certainly been one in mine and my family. So from the bottom of my heart, again, thank you guys very, very much. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time, hopefully on the backup, this account. See you tomorrow morning. Everybody have a good night. Go raid Left Jess. She's raiding.